All right, today we're going to tackle a concept that might just flip everything you thought you knew about spiritual growth. We're talking about milk. And no, not the kind you put in your coffee, but the milk of the Word from the Bible. And we're going to explore why it might be the most misunderstood and maybe the most powerful tool we have for spiritual combat.
So let's just start with a really big what if. What if that milk isn't just the starter pack for new believers? You know, the simple ABCs of faith that you're supposed to get past as fast as possible?
Yeah, what if it's something way more intense? What if it's actually your basic training for spiritual warfare? The core conditioning that decides whether you stand your ground or get knocked over when things get real.
This right here gets us to a massive misconception that's been around for a long time. The whole idea has been, get past the milk, move on to the solid food as quickly as you can. We tend to treat it like a 101 course, you know? Something you graduate from and then you're done with it. But what if that exact mindset is why so many of us feel totally unprepared for the actual challenges of faith? What if we've been trying to outgrow the one thing we actually need the most? So let's completely reframe this. I want you to forget the word basic. Instead, think boot camp. This isn't about just getting information into your head. It's about formation. It's about getting you battle ready. So look at this contrast. On the left, you've got the old view. Milk is like a baby bottle, something you leave behind. But on the right, that's the new view. It's your canteen in the middle of a war zone. This whole thing isn't about outgrowing the basics. It's about mastering the fundamentals until they are pure instinct.
Now, where are we getting this idea? Well, Hebrews chapter 5 gives us a pretty shocking definition. It says that milk is for training your senses to distinguish between good and evil. Did you catch that? The key word is trained. This is not about passively learning a fact. It's active.
So what does this training actually do for you? Well, it's not just about knowing the difference between good and evil like it's a test question. It's about building the spiritual muscle memory to instantly, without hesitation, reject evil and choose good. It gets you ready for the enemy's oldest trick in the book, the temptation that looks almost good, you know, the half-truths, the tiny little compromises that always lead to a bigger fall.
And this brings us to where the battle is actually fought. It's not always in those big, dramatic moments we might imagine. The real front line is a lot closer to home.
The real battlefield? It's the human will. It's fought in those quiet, split-second decisions you and I make 100 times a day. Things like repentance and faith and choosing righteousness. Those are considered milk topics. And guess what? They are the foundation of every single spiritual victory you will ever have.
So how does this training actually work? Well, first, it sharpens your reflexes. It's about creating an automatic response. When temptation pops up, there's no debate, there's no discussion, just an instinctive no. Second, it conditions your conscience, making it sharp and quick to respond. And third, all of this prepares you for the real fight, those little moments of subtle compromise where most battles are actually won or lost.
Okay, so that all sounds great in theory, right? But what does this actually look like in the real world? How does a trained will function day to day?
Let's look at a really cool modern-day example of this from the world of AI art. This prompt from a guide called Faithful Visions shows a will that has already been trained. Notice that it's not just about what the artist wants to create, it's defined by what they've already decided to reject. And this is a perfect illustration. This list of no's, what's called a negative prompt. It's not just a set of arbitrary rules. It's a trained response. It is the active, immediate rejection of evil that milk is designed to build in us. It's a pre-decided conviction that guides what you create. That right there is a trained will in action.
So, if this training is so foundational, if it's the absolute core of our spiritual strength, then the goal can't possibly be to just move past it.
And here it is. This is the whole paradigm shift. You don't graduate from milk, you master it. The strongest, most effective people of faith aren't the ones who left the fundamentals behind. They're the ones who perfected them. They're the ones who made repentance, faith, and obedience their automatic go-to response. When you boil it all down, it comes to this simple, powerful truth. Talent is awesome. Knowledge is super useful, but it's consistent, rigorous discipline that wins wars, in life and in spirit. And milk? Milk is the discipline of the will. So we'll just leave you with this question to think about. We all face battles of temptation, of compromise, of our own will. The question is, are you training for the right one? Is your focus on mastering the fundamentals that will actually lead you to victory?